Welcome to the real life show, Living with a Chronic Illness. We are your hosts, Cassie and Chelsea. I'm Cassie, a single mom living with a chronic illness who is extremely passionate about living a full and happy life.
And I'm Chelsea, a mindset coach that has a passion for helping people learn to put themselves first and be the best version of themselves each and every day.
We came together to create Spoonies Unite, an uplifting community that offers resources, guidance, and support so you can live your best life while giving you the space to be yourself, be heard, and feel understood. We hope that by providing education from experts, we help Spoonies and their loved ones thrive.
This show is not only for those who live with a chronic illness, but their friends, family, spouses, and just anyone else existing on the earth. Our goal is to normalizing having a chronic illness by sharing the real stories with real people and show the world how relatable those everyday struggles can be. There's a little something in here for everyone.
And of course, thank you to our patrons for your continued support making this possible. If you love our show and want to get some extra goodies, go to patreon.com/therealspooniesunite. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the real life show, Living with a Chronic Illness. This is a special bonus episode about a topic that is very near and dear to both Cassie and I, and it's called being a good fucking human being and wearing your damn mask.
That's right.
Yes.
We should just wear masks recording this whole thing so that people realize that they can still hear us completely fine and that we're both breathing the entire time.
We should have done that.
Wait, mine's right here. I'm going to do it.
Okay, mine's in another room, so I'm not going to get up to go and get them. But Cassie, everybody, can put on her mask.
I'm putting my mask on, and you can let us know on the Instagrams if you can hear me differently now or if I still sound great. Chelsea, do I sound good to you?
I think you sound basically the exact same.
Okay, if I'm a little bit muffled, get the fuck over it because it's not that big of a deal. Okay.
So we understand
it's out of principle. I'm going to wear it for the whole rest of the episode.
It's fine. If mine was close by, I would, but I just am too lazy to walk to their side of my house.
Oh, and I think maybe I should also tell people this is 3 layers of 100% cotton mask. It's a very cute leopard cheetah print.
It is cute.
Green colored. It's got comfortable ear loops. But yeah, it's 3 layers of 100% cotton that I am wearing and breathing through right now. Okay, continue, Chelsea.
Anyways, we understand that this topic has sparked quite the heated debate in our world at the moment. And so Cassie and I wanted to share our thoughts on this topic because, as you all know, Cassie is immune compromised. She takes medication that
suppresses my immune system.
Suppresses her immune system. I couldn't think of the word.
That's okay.
Brain. And I, even though I am not immune compromised, when I tend to get colds anyways, I tend to get asthmatic symptoms. I've had doctors call it viral-induced asthma. So the idea of catching a virus that already affects your lungs a lot more than normal is not something that sounds pleasant to me. And I work with a lot of clients teaching Pilates that are older. And if they themselves aren't a little immune compromised, they are caring for their parents that are like in their 90s and are immune compromised. And so this is something
also me.
Yes, it's also Cassie too. And so we understand that maybe it's not the most convenient thing in the entire world to wear a mask, but can we just think about this for a moment? You have to wear shoes and pants and shirts and just clothing in general to go any fucking place in the world besides the beach or the pool, but you're still wearing a goddamn swimsuit. We hope.
Well, at least bottoms in Europe.
True, at least bottoms. But we're covering ourselves up. There's places in the world where women have to cover their entire faces all the time, no matter what. Guess what? They can still breathe. Just fine.
Yes.
Just fine. So whenever people are like, oh my gosh, I can't breathe through this mask. Well, either you're wearing it like an idiot or you have a lung problem to begin with.
Yeah. And not hard to breathe through. And if you do have a lung problem to begin with and it is hard for you to breathe, then it's all the more reason why you should also be making sure that everyone around you is wearing a mask. Just really quick little point there too. Secondly, to that point, think of all of the people in the world that have to wear a mask every day at work, like all of our medical personnel, surgeons, nurses, etc., dental people. Then you've also got people like construction workers, painters, exterminators, our wonderful nail techs who always wear masks when they're freaking giving us a manicure. Like the amount of people that have been wearing masks all day at work for countless years already, we can do it too. You know, it's really not that big of a deal. You just have to get used to it a little bit. And once you do get used to it, you don't even notice that you're wearing it. And again, if you have a medical reason as to why you shouldn't be wearing a mask, then this clearly doesn't apply to you.
Yes.
But you should make everyone around you wear a mask so that you are more protected, because you will be more protected if they're wearing masks.
Yes. So basically, especially if you are going to be within 6 feet of people or have the potential of going within 6 feet of people, put on a mask. It's the newest accessory. I mean, like, get
There's
cute ones.
really cute ones. Oh yeah, and we will tell you. I've been getting lots of masks, and so just at the end of this episode, I'll tell you like my top favorite places to get masks right now. But we'll wait just until the end of the thing.
But just wear it, because in the end, you not wearing a mask and refusing to wear a mask is making this entire situation that the world is experiencing together about you. If you don't want to wear a mask for just the simple reason if you don't want to wear one, or you're trying to bring in politics, then that's you. You are being a little selfish. Because so I wear a mask not to protect myself. Yes, I would like to not get the virus. Very much so. I don't want it. But I wear a mask not to protect myself, but to protect everyone around me. To decrease the chance that I end up getting the virus or picking it up somewhere so I don't give it to a client, even though I'm incredibly careful at work and I really don't go within 6 feet of people anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm far away. I've been teaching Pilates classes across the other side of the room, 30 feet away. It's been great. Mm-hmm. And just put on the mask. It's not that hard. And it could make a really, really big difference in the lives of other people. I know I've heard some stuff out there on the internets and the social medias of, oh, if you're someone who's immune compromised, like you just need to stay at home. Well, unfortunately, most people that are immunocompromised are kind of already staying at home. They already think a little bit more about where they're going to go and if they need to go there or not. I know, Cassie, you've been wearing a mask while you've been flying on airplanes for quite a long time. This is nothing new for you.
Yeah, I've been wearing a mask to fly for the last 3 years. And I mean, I'm not flying right now, obviously, but I did consider it. I did have a trip booked that I was considering going on. A couple months ago, I was like, maybe it's going to be okay. Maybe, they're taking a lot of precautions. And then ultimately I was just like, this isn't worth it. I have to protect myself and I have to protect my family because I am living with a 90-year-old. And so I canceled my trip. But yeah, you do need to wear a mask to protect yourself and other people. And again, I'm still wearing mine, guys. So I'm sure you can still hear me just fine, And for a little bit of like fact out there right now, if the carrier of coronavirus is not wearing a mask, it's around a 70% probability that other people are going to get the virus. If the carrier of coronavirus is wearing a mask, then that probability is maybe around 5% that the people around them can get the virus. If both parties are wearing a mask, so the carrier and the non-carrier are both wearing masks, then the probability is only about 1.5% that you can catch the coronavirus. Now, these statistics have been sort of circling social media, and the CDC couldn't say necessarily like this is total fact of you will get it, you won't get it, but they said contagion probability. Okay, so just to be sure. Now, for the news, as Chelsea said, there's stuff going around about like why masks don't work, which is bullshit, because if they didn't work, then our medical personnel would not be wearing them for as long as they have been. And then again, we can go back and look at like the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic, etc. But anyway, one of my favorite places to get the news now, which Chelsea also follows.
This woman is amazing.
She is amazing. She's on Instagram. Her Instagram has blown up in the last few months because her like news and everything she's sharing is such quality stuff. So her name is Laurel Bristow, and her Instagram handle is at King Gutter Baby, which is at KINGGUTTERBABY. She is an infectious disease researcher working on COVID in Atlanta right now. She goes in and like addresses all the various papers and articles and research that's coming out. She breaks it down so that all of us can understand it. And it's like unbiased, unpolitical news. And she's freaking amazing. She's super smart. Go find her, check her out. It's super great. And just please wear a mask, people. This is, if we had been wearing masks all the time a few months ago, we may not be in such a bad position that we're in now. And hopefully with all of us taking the precautions to care for one another over the next few months, and wearing your mask, we may not have to I don't know, this is good. This all will be over one day. Mm-hmm. And by us all doing our part, we can try to save lives and have a lower death rate, a lower transmission rate, a lower positive case rate, everything. But we need to do it all together. And again, I haven't taken my mask off. You might have heard me taking a little bit deeper breath, but I wear my mask teaching Pilates all day, and I'll teach 4 to 6 hours back to back sometimes. And I'm talking the entire time. And it gets sweaty and it gets a little steamy. And I keep that brand Pacifica. They're face wipes in my car, which is nice to help me not break out because I keep getting maskne. And and then, and also top favorite masks right now. First of all, the surgical mask is supposed to be one of the best to protect you from the outside. So just keep that in mind. If you're severely immune compromised, like an N95 or a surgical mask tightly fitting around your face might be a good option. Additionally, you could put the surgical mask on and a cloth mask over it for added protection from the outside to you. Then there's a mask called there are masks at electricstyles.com that have adjustable ear loops, and they have PM 2.5 filters, which are pretty great. So I've got some of those. Also, Vistaprint.com is selling masks just like that with adjustable ear loops and a filter pocket. If you're looking for a more comfortable and breathable cloth mask, strappedmfg.com has super wonderful soft masks. I have some of those, and they are my favorite. They're 2 layers of 100% cotton, and they donate a mask for every mask sold to frontline workers. Then the masks that I'm currently wearing are from kitsch.com, KITSCH.com. They have 3 for $12, 3 layers of 100% cotton. There is also something going around that how efficient your mask is by if you blow with the mask on. If you can feel your breath outside the mask, on your hand, if you feel warmth or if you feel the blowing, then your mask is not that effective. I will say that the Kitsch mask, sometimes I can feel the warmth from my breath when I blow through, but the strappedmfg.com and electric style masks and surgical masks, I don't feel any of that warmth or the breath going through. So, we are not sponsored by any of those brands. They are just my personal favorites right now. If they want to sponsor us, that's cool. But so we'll put all those in the show notes for you. And if there's a mask that you love, please post it, tag us on your Instagram or DM us, because we'd love to try it or recommend it to you if you like them. Chelsea, what else do you have to add?
Really the last thing that I would like to say is if you really dislike wearing a mask, then just don't go places where you would need a mask. Don't put yourself in situations where you would need one. I personally dislike exercising wearing a mask. I I think that I would be, okay, I could totally wear I could totally wear a mask and exercise. I have the lung capacity to do that because I'm used to talking and teaching and moving. I've been doing it for years. So my lung capacity can handle that. I do think that depending on your level of exertion, it may be a little unsafe, depending on your lung capacity, because even though the masks do not slow down the rate of oxygen consumption or make it less likely for oxygen to get into your body, if you are exercising and your body needs more oxygen, you might not be able to get enough, just depending on how your body is functioning in a healthy state.
You're simply just not used to it.
Yes. And so if you are in a situation where you are needing to wear a mask and be exercising, physically exerting yourself, either start slow and slowly get used to it. I wouldn't like go all out. I know I've seen articles of like marathon runners being able to wear masks while they did that. Well, they probably trained their way up there. So I wouldn't say you should run your first marathon wearing a mask. Probably not the smartest decision. Just protect yourself. So maybe you're like, I get really dizzy and lightheaded when I'm working out with a mask on, but I want to exercise. Well, maybe you need to find ways to exercise outside, maybe in the comfort of your own home, or finding a gym or a studio space that really honors that 6-foot rule. Like I know at the Pilates studio that I work at, it's a private studio. Masks are required in public where Cassie and I live right now, but for private spaces, it's kind of a little bit more up to that facility. And all of our equipment is spaced more than 6 feet apart. It's all at least 6 feet, if not more. And we actually kind of try to space people out more within that space too. And so we don't require masks. People are welcome to, but it's just do what feels comfortable for you. And again, if you're like, I don't feel comfortable going to the space wearing a mask, then maybe you need to figure out a way to not go in that space. I've been doing a lot more like pick up. Like I went to Target instead of going in. I did the order where I ordered it on the app and then I drove up and they put it in my car, and it's the greatest thing ever. And so
just to add on to the studio thing that you were talking about, Chelsea, too, it's like there might be some places where you like to exercise or work out or go for recreational stuff that the precautions are being taken differently and being used differently all over the country. So I work at a different studio inside a gym that's like 3 miles away from Chelsea. And we are having all instructors wearing masks mandatory. I've been wearing mine the whole time anyway. For our members coming in, they have asked them to wear masks when they come in and when they're kind of like talking in the foyer. While they're physically exercising, they don't have to wear a mask, and we have social distance our equipment like the treadmills and stuff. But for example, I did my Stelara shot 2 weeks ago, which is my immune suppressant, and I was supposed to teach that following weekend. And actually, because we had a member who was getting tested for COVID, they were in quarantine. So I had to go in. I didn't have anyone to sub for me. And I asked everyone who was going to attend my class if they would feel comfortable to wear a mask to help protect me while I was at an especially immune suppressed state. That I was only 6 days after taking my shot. And my clients were like, oh yeah, we'll totally do that for you. I had a couple people who didn't feel comfortable and they just didn't come in that day. But majority of my clients did. And so that day it was the day after 4th of July. And so it was actually like pretty quiet. So there was just 3 of us in there, and all 3 of us did work out for an hour doing Pilates. All 3 of us wore our masks the whole time. And there was a couple times that we got a little out of breath, maybe a tiny bit more than usual because of wearing the mask. But ultimately we were all completely fine and we were all really safe. And then again, I've had a few clients who don't feel comfortable wearing a mask, and I wore a surgical mask around them to protect myself, and even consider putting this kitsch mask on top. So as Chelsea said, like find a space that you feel comfortable. In addition to that, I'd like to add that I actually did start working out more at home in the last few weeks because I wanted to strengthen my lungs a little bit more, and I want to strengthen my body and be strong with the coronavirus going on, and also just for my body for the future. I want my 40-year-old self to thank me for the work I'm doing right now. I'm going to be 32 this summer, guys. Super exciting. So anyway, just wanting to add on to that, Chelsea, about like, finding your space and finding your people. And we just really would appreciate from one chronically ill person with an autoimmune disorder who is immune compromised and living with a 90-year-old with a child who had asthma and sometimes has difficulty with asthma. There are those of us out there like that in that living situation who need the rest of you to also wear a mask to help us who can't just shut away forever. And, even if I don't work, which this week I got my shifts covered, I didn't go into work this week because I didn't feel very safe because we've had a huge spike in coronavirus in our area. But I can't just not work forever, and I can't not go to the grocery store. And, even if it is like clickless when you pick up on the curb or Instacart or whatever, it's just not realistic. And then my son has to go to school, whether that's going to be online or in person. Like, there's a lot of big issues going on. But if we can all come together as humans and people in a community and make this small sacrifice of wearing a mask when you're out in public, it can really save the rest of us and people who are in situations that we're trying to protect ourselves or other loved ones. So thank you for listening to our rant. We really felt like we needed to put this out into the world because it's a little bit insane how much political stuff is going on about these freaking masks. This is not a big deal. And don't even get me started about how the government wants to control our uteruses, and yet a mask is taking things too far.
And that'll be another episode.
That's for another episode. Yeah. So, but yeah, check in the show notes. We're going to put links to all the masks that we like. And we really would love you to tag us at The Real Spoonies Unite on Instagram with your favorite masks or a picture of you wearing a mask so that we can share it and show that we're protecting our communities. And thanks for listening, guys. And wash your hands and wear a mask.
Yep. Just do it, people. It's not about you. It's about the other people around you and your community that this can really, really negatively impact their life in a really profound way. So just do it. It ain't that hard. Just do it.
And I'm still wearing my mask and I'm breathing just fine.
Yeah, she's
and
good.
I'm really hoping that all of you could hear me just fine.
I think you sounded fantastic.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please write us a review to help us reach more people like you.
If you'd like to connect with Cassie and I, you can find us on Instagram at The Real Spoonies Unite. You can also join our private Facebook community, Spoonies Unite, or you can visit our website, therealspooniesunite.com, for all sorts of resources and to stay up to date with our current projects. And don't worry, you can find all of these links in the show notes below.
Thank you to our wonderful Spoonie patrons for all your support, and you can become one too. That's right. All you have to do is go on over to patreon.com/therealspooniesunite, and you can get all sorts of extra goodies like videos of our episodes and more.
Any support is greatly appreciated. It helps enable us to create more content for all of you, as well as make this podcast sound better and better. Thanks for listening. We can't wait to be back in your ears soon.